So my name is Cassie Jeppson. I work at Lenovo, and I'm responsible for the North America channel operations and strategy. So I'm always interested to grow personally and professionally, and looking for new ways to be able to do that. And when I read the the intent of the course and the goals that you were setting out for each one of the attendees, then it just resonated. I felt like you were talking directly to me with the content that you had set out. And I was feeling that, life was good. I enjoy my role. I feel like an expert in it. But I was feeling that there was more that I can contribute to the organization, and struggling a little bit with how do I put myself out there in the best way, and what is appropriate for me from a goal setting perspective without overcommitting myself. And you really helped me to get out of my comfort zone and think outside the box in ways that I never had before.
Yeah.
Having worked with you before, then I was intrigued about what your secret sauce was, and just hoping to get a little bit of it. So that was a big thing. But even the title, unstoppable leadership. Every leader should want to be unstoppable and be the best version of themselves. And in my growth and development, then that's really what I'm striving for, is to continue to iterate and become that best version of myself. And that's really what was intriguing about the course, is looking at how can I unlock that potential within me that I know is there, and apply it differently than what I have been. I wanted to understand what was missing. In order to get to that next level, there's always a gap that each one of us has. And so I was looking for, how do I plug those gaps, and how do I grow in ways that maybe my leadership team can't help me to do. I think that there's 20% that you rely on from your organization, and 80% that is on you to take charge and control of your destiny and your growth and development. And so I was looking to do that differently, and unlock some of those things about me that I could apply within the organization, and ultimately will be applying in my personal life as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I felt like there were elements that I needed to get out of my own way. And I didn't know why I was feeling that way, but I just felt like there was a barrier that I was either superficially or self-consciously, putting in front of myself. And so I really wanted to identify what was that barrier, and how to get past it. And I did, and it was really uncomfortable, but it was an amazing experience all in the same time. I'm pretty buttoned up and very self-aware, or so I thought that I was self-aware. But the conversations that we had, and in the group coaching and in the one-on-ones, as well as through the exercises, the thought process behind each element of the course really just made me look at different perspectives and ask myself questions to be able to get over those obstacles, put myself out there in different ways, ask other people questions about me to be able to get that direct and candid feedback. And it was really powerful. So it was things that I knew, but I didn't know how to take action on. And so through our one-on-ones and coaching, I was able to put together a plan, baby steps to be able to take actions. And those small steps, when I would reach out to somebody for a different approach to a conversation that maybe we had had in the past, or ask some questions in a slightly different manner, changing just a couple of the words, then I got a much different response. And it has been instrumental in my growth personally and professionally. And I can just see a tremendous difference in the way that I even approach a standard conversation, and how I'm thinking about the preparation, or the questions that I ask, or the tone that I use when I ask the questions. So it's a whole lot of things, all at the same time. Yeah, vulnerability was definitely one of those big walls and obstacles, where I thought that I was really creating authentic relationships, and I was, But there was a part of myself that I was just holding back. And when I became okay with allowing that to be exposed and becoming more vulnerable, then it's been a big game changer. And really, for me, it felt like a huge weight off of my shoulders to be able to expose myself in different ways. Well, I think everything that I was experiencing was more my personal doubt. I felt that there was a barrier. I felt that there was something that I could do differently and better. But I couldn't put my finger on exactly what it was and identifying that. So now I have a different perspective and am able to, open up my aperture and kind of take some of those blinders off in a way that I wasn't before. And maybe there was a little bit of self-denial there that I was able to overcome too, but having that different outlook and perspective and putting myself into some of those vulnerable positions to really soak up the feedback, read between the lines, understand what the coaching is in a different way. As a high performer, then oftentimes we get, oh, you're doing a great job, keep doing it. And so when you get any type of nugget or feedback, then you just soak it up and you dissect it in ways that maybe you shouldn't. And that was part of what I was doing, is interpreting feedback in ways that weren't necessarily accurate. And so I was giving myself a false perception of the way that people were viewing me. And I was making assumptions that weren't accurate. And that was causing me to hold myself back in particular situations that I shouldn't have been, and to be more guarded of myself, whether it was the way that I shared ideas or the way that I presented in executive interactions or in front of partners even. Then there were things that I shielded from others that were simple things to change. And once I was able to let go a little bit and do that, then it's made a huge difference. I am my own worst enemy. I was totally standing in my way. I was blocking myself from having the right perspective and holding back pieces of me. And it's not imposter syndrome. It's a little bit of lack of confidence and understanding fully what it is that I wanted. And so part of it was I was blocking myself from realizing what my goals really were. I knew some of the things that I wanted to accomplish in my career, but I would always tell people, oh, I think that I want this, but I'm not really sure how I want to get there. And when I really started breaking down, what is my why? What drives me every day? What really is my motivation? Then I was able to better articulate what it is that I wanted to accomplish based on those goals that I had set for myself. And it really just kind of lit up the pathway for how I should go about getting there, which was really powerful and made me feel like I had more control than I was feeling previously. I think the clarity was the biggest eye-opener for me, because I thought that I had clarity, but then I realized that was one of the barriers that was holding me back. And after I was able to overcome and figure out some of those details on what clarity meant for me, then the how became clear, and I didn't even really have to think about it. Whereas before, I was really focusing on the how, not necessarily on the what, or to where I was going. I think the consequence is happiness, right? So we're all looking for joy in life, and especially in our careers. And we spend so much time at work. Then, for me personally, I need to constantly be growing and developing. And I have been at a point where I felt that I was becoming stagnant. And I felt that I was doing all of the right things to be able to grow and develop and move forward, whether that was taking courses or accepting new projects or networking with different groups or insert best practices here, then I felt like I was checking all of the right boxes, but I was just treading water. And so for me, it was being on that verge of burnout and not realizing it. And then it was also realizing that I was just treading water. I wasn't going anywhere within my own growth and development. And it was because of me. Well, I think part of it, though, was realizing that I had the power to make the difference. And rather than relying on others to help me to get to other places, then there were things that I could have done differently to take control and leverage the power that I had to make a difference for myself. And so in addition to realizing the clarity, but understanding the power and how to leverage it for myself to grow personally and professionally was a huge step in the right direction. Well, there's a lot of programs that really focus on how do you build culture? How do you build a performance team? How do you relate to people? How do you do this? And how do you do that? Really focused on others and how you support others. But this program is focused first and foremost on how do you do that for yourself? And how do you become the best version of you so that you can be that for everyone else? And until you become that for yourself, then you're kind of ineffective at being that for others. And that was the biggest differentiator for me, is that, gosh, I've been through so many different leadership coaching programs, and they're all great at doing that, at teaching you how to support others. But as you grow as a leader, then there are different things that you need to take control of and that you need to do for yourself. And nobody talks about that. And so that was huge for me. Oh man, if you're considering this program, don't hesitate, sign up now. This was by far the most beneficial leadership program that I've ever participated in. I've never felt so vulnerable and liked it. So it was awesome. And the time went by so quickly. But every week I looked forward to the course and interacting with the other folks that were participating, and also wondering, how can I apply what I learned today? And just being so eager to go and do that as quickly as I could to be able to test it. I really wanted to prove you wrong, but it just didn't work. I was a little bit hesitant because of time commitment. I felt like, gosh, with everything that I have going on, do I have time to do this for myself? And the more I thought about it, I didn't not have the time. Like I needed to make the time for myself. And it was because of encouragement from you and the way that you described the program and the things that I could expect by participating. I was very intrigued to be able to learn more. And that was every single week. I just felt like, man, I just want to learn more. The way that the exercises were, it was so thought-provoking and just made you want to, there are so many courses that you're multitasking, right? You're swivel seating or opening up other windows. And this was not one of them. It was undivided attention all of the time, just taking copious notes and soaking up all of the little nuggets. But it was not just, hey, that's a good quote, or hey, that's a good suggestion. It was, oh my gosh, I can relate to that. The examples that were given were so vivid. And the whole time I felt like the course was built for me. And that you were, like, I was the only one there for a lot of it, but it was just very enlightening. And the support from the rest of the participants, we were able to connect on so many different levels within the small groups. And the sidebar conversations were definitely there with, hey, I know that we didn't have enough time in this last breakout, so here are some other things that I can share. Here's how I can support you differently. And then with the community, I think that there was a lot of great things shared within some of those forums and the chat atmosphere. But I know that there were several of us that were reaching out behind the scenes and in between class dates to help each other out or to give words of encouragement. There were several of us that were interviewing at the same time, or going through different elements of life. And so, it became a really great support group during that time, and will continue to be afterwards as well. So relationships are huge. So that was a lot. I feel like I'm rambling, but there's so many things that I could say, about it. And every chance I get, I'm telling people, hey, you should check this out. And I don't know, I'm really thankful for the opportunity to have gone through the course, and just excited to be able to continue to apply the learnings. And each application, whether it is how to have a more impactful conversation, or how to tackle some of those tough conversations, and have meaningful discussions around challenging topics, then those are daily applications that you can shift some of those best practices. You can't apply them all at once, but as you apply those in small amounts, then you can just continue to see the impact of what you learned, just paving the way forever. Well, I think the biggest benefit is that I feel like I have a direction. So I definitely gained the clarity, was able to set some really solid goals, learned a lot about myself along the way. And I don't feel that there's that wall or that barrier there for me anymore. I'm on the other side of it. And I am confident that there's going to be other times where there's a barrier there, but I have the tools to be able to get over it, around it, under it, through it, however I need to at this point, based on the tools that I gained from the course. I have a different confidence in myself to be able to move forward. So, I've truly feel that I've had so many conversations with myself lately that it's enabled me to coach myself in ways that I wasn't before. And it's taking some of the tools from the course, and I don't want to, spoil anything for others that are thinking about this, but whether you're looking at your needs and establishing your why, or setting your goals, then being able to articulate that in very, very distinct ways that are deeper than how I was articulating each one of those things before, gave me a level of clarity and understanding to be able to move forward with my goals and to create a specific plan on how I was going to accomplish those things that was right for me and not right for other people's expectations or status quo. So taking the ownership of my destiny and harnessing the power through the clarity that I gained was the most impactful. And I feel that I will be able to leverage those tools because, not only do I have the files that I can reference, but because they're built in a way that is applicable to everyone and everyone's situations. Whether it was a challenging conversation with my child, to a confrontational conversation about employee performance, and everything in between, then there are nuggets in there to be able to leverage.
Amazing.
Well, I think that the benefits are endless. So, there's a million stats around empowering female leadership and developing female leaders within your organization. But if you are able to have the level of intent that this program provides, then it truly does make you unstoppable. There's no situation that I feel that I will be put in that I'm not prepared for. There may be some knowledge gaps that I may not have for a particular topic, but I feel confident that I can handle any given situation, confrontation, conversation and attack each one of those with confidence and professionalism, and with an understanding of these are my capabilities and this is my potential for growth. And that's truly what makes you unstoppable, is understanding that each one of us has unlimited potential. It's just a matter of how we tap into it and how we apply ourselves within all of those different situations and challenges. In our organizations as leaders, then it's oftentimes told to us that, hey, this is your business, own it and run it. And having that entrepreneurial perspective and attitude. Well, in a person that works for someone else has a different mindset, because there's a safety net oftentimes when you're working for someone else. But if you're building a business and everything is on you, then there's an element of figure it out, as well as understand where your lifelines are, which is different from, hey, I work for somebody else, I need to run everything by them, and I don't have 100% independent thought. So being able to harness those skills to move through every type of situation that a business can encounter just allows you to stand apart and to really take the reins from a leadership position and perspective to guide and grow the company in ways that you may have felt handcuffed to do before. So again, that realization of I'm capable, I have the power, and I am taking the authority to be able to do this. So it's participating in the program has definitely made a huge impact on me personally and professionally. And I have a new outlook, a new perspective, and I feel like I am truly unstoppable.